Okay, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Planning Commission for September 26, 2013, and we'll let the record show that all commissioners are present with the exception of Jolene Fuentes. And that takes us to the pledge, which will be led by Commissioner Hamilton tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner Hamilton. This is a part in the meeting where we open up the meeting to public comments. I didn't see any public comments request sheets yet. Do we have anybody in the audience that would like to speak to the Commission on something other than what's on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. That takes us to the consent calendar. We have comments or a motion on the consent calendar?
I'll move to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None shown. Okay. And then it'll take us to public hearings, and we have an item on the agenda tonight on the compressed gas, natural gas station.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. And Ron Santos is here this evening with a staff report.
Good evening, Commissioners, Eckmeister, and members of the Planning Commission. This item is a request for approval of modifications to a recently approved site development permit to construct a compressed natural gas vehicle fueling station at the northwest corner of El Toro Road and Bridger Road. As originally approved this past April, the project consists of a fuel island with 4 dispensers, a restroom building, a compressor enclosure, paving, and perimeter landscaping. With this change plan application, the applicant is proposing 4 changes to the project: a larger compressor and compressor enclosure, a relocated and reconfigured vehicular accessway between the project site and the parcel to the north, 1 additional parking space, and wider landscape planters at the northwest and southwest corners of the site. The larger compressor is intended to speed fueling times and minimize time spent at the pump. In order to accommodate the compressor, the length of the enclosure would be increased by approximately 12 feet, extended towards Bridger. Using the same design and materials as the original approval, so the same exterior finish and colors as was originally approved by the Commission. In addition, the opening to the enclosure would be moved to the east wall, and a sliding gate would be substituted for swinging gates that were part of the original design. A noise study submitted in conjunction with this application concluded that the larger compressor would not have any adverse noise impact. The redesigned accessway is intended to address concerns expressed by representatives of Chase Bank, which leases a parcel located contiguously to the north. Specifically, Chase was concerned that traffic generated by the CNG station along the drive aisle between the station and the Chase building would affect Chase customers. Whereas the original accessway accommodated left and right turns in and out, the redesigned accessway limits turning movements to right turns out only. The applicant also submitted a focused traffic study which evaluated the new design and concluded that adequate vehicular access, egress, and circulation would be maintained on site, and also that the project would have no significant adverse impacts on the Chase leased parcel. The study was peer-reviewed by staff and determined to be a proper and valid assessment. It should also be noted that the use with only 4 fuel dispensers would generate considerably fewer trips than a gasoline station, which was a former use of the site and which typically has 12 or more fuel dispensers and a convenience store, or for that matter, fewer trips than other conceivable uses such as a standalone convenience store, say a 7-Eleven that might otherwise fit onto a parcel of that size. Representatives from Chase also reviewed the traffic study and the proposed changes and have advised staff that their appeal of the project to the City Council, which has been on hold pending the outcome of this hearing, will be withdrawn if the Commission votes to approve the change plan application. As further discussed in the staff report, the proposed change plan will result in several benefits, including, as I mentioned, faster fueling times, the additional parking space, additional landscaping, and the aforementioned resolution of the accessway issue, with no adverse impacts or conditions also resulting from the changes. On this basis, staff is recommending approval of the application as proposed and subject to the original conditions of approval. That concludes staff's presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Hey, thank you, Ron. Do we have any questions for staff? Commissioner Hamilton.
Yes, I'm just kind of going back in time here. April 11th, we had the sign, the Titan Compressed Natural Gas Station Monument sign, Plan Sign Program 3-133184. I was looking at the drawings, and on page LP1, I don't know if that's the, yeah, that is the page number. It says proposed tenant sign by others, separate permit required. I just wanted to make sure that was, is that the same one that we already approved?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is. It's the same sign, and the change plan is a request to alter only the site development permit. No changes to the plan sign program that was previously approved by the Commission as proposed.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
I do. I was wondering, is there going to be any kind of striping on the pavement as far as directional for directing cars coming in and out, because they're going to have two ways, if I see this correctly. So I just want to make sure that we're going to have some, at least some influence, if is at all possible, to try to help people from engaging in multiple directional in the same lane wherever possible.
Yes, at the access way between the two parcels, there will be a right turn pavement striping, and then at the intersection of that drive aisle with El Toro, there will also be a one-way directional arrow indicating that because it's that drive aisle is divided with the median, that there's an arrow pointing out towards El Toro indicating that it's one way.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Brower, anything?
Just trying to make sure I understand the drawings correctly. I haven't changed anything as far as the driveway on Bridger. It's still ingress and egress from Bridger.
That's correct.
And so the entrance on Bridger is really the only way to enter the station.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't make a U-turn and then go back into it. That's an exit only. So, okay, so all the cars are always going to be going the same direction as they go into the pumps,
Yes.
unless they turn in the station, which would be unusual. Okay. Great, thank you. Any other questions? All right, let's open the public hearing. We're going to go a little bit out of order this time. We have a couple people who want to speak, including the applicant, and if the applicant doesn't have any serious objections, we have one guy that has a time crunch tonight. Mr. Gardner, would you like to come up and speak to us?
Good evening. My name is Jim Gardner. I live in Lake Forest. Thank you for the exception, and thank you. I do have someplace I have to be. I can stick around till about 7:30. I'm in favor of gas. I have lots of gas stocks, KMP, Encana, ETP, EG, so I like gas. I'm worried about traffic. I'm worried about the traffic study, which I think is woefully inadequate. For example, they use Santa Ana as a model. So it turns out that in Santa Ana, within 6 miles of that station, there are 8 other stations. In other words, there are plenty of other opportunities, so the kind of volume that Santa Ana gets impacted by the fact that there are 8 other stations. talking fast, I got a lot to say. Lake Forest, there'll only be 2 stations, one in San Juan Capistrano, one in Irvine. So you cannot use Santa Ana as a model and do numbers from that. Well, you can, but that would be woefully inadequate in misrepresenting, because the rest of the CNG people have 8 other stations to choose from besides the Santa Ana station. Number 2, in their analysis, come on, you got to be kidding. You saw that map, the entranceway from Bridger. Bridger is a dead end. What are there, CNG places coming out of the landscape place? I mean, if they did this in their traffic study, what does that tell you about the traffic study in general? So that also worries me about the traffic study. The third thing that worries me about the traffic study is the fact that that area of town is the worst area in the entire city. You try to go from Rockfield and you enter that thing, everybody is going in every direction. People are crossing from Rockfield, trying to get in the far-hand lane. People are making U-turns around there, trying to get over to Bank America. You try to go out from Chase, you take your life in your hands trying to get out from that Chase exit. That's a terrible area. It's an area that the Planning Commission should be looking at just to fix up that area. And now they're talking about adding 40 to 60, however many CNG vehicles into that area. And they're all going to have to, it's by the freeway. They're going to come off the 5, which is how it's designed. I understand that. They're going to go down, go up, make the U-turn, and then go into the wacko area that everybody else is moving constantly in there. And then they're going to egress into that. That seems to me terrible planning in an area that's already our worst area for traffic in the city, and it's also a strategic area. And so all of that worries me about the traffic. I didn't see a really good traffic analysis. Also, I'm worried about the safety. Not so much the safety of the stations. I spent an hour looking at CNG, and apparently it's pretty rare for stations to blow up, at least in this country. Apparently they blow up in other countries, but I haven't found them blowing up in this country. But the cars blow up. And I couldn't get any data, and I couldn't see it in the report on how often they, anyway, so I'm worried about safety as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I guess we have a new alarm.
Can I ask a question of the applicant? Or the speaker. Sorry, the speaker. Applicant was on the top of my head. I was just wondering, would you be adverse then to Unical or another competitor of theirs coming back to that station? Because that would be a lot more traffic. Because they were there already.
Would I be adverse to a traffic being there? A gas station being there. You know, can't give that to you off the top of my head. The fact that one was there doesn't necessarily mean one should go there. But I've really only looked at it from the CNG point of view, not from a general traffic point of view. I'm not dodging it, but I don't have a quick answer off the top of my head. It's a bad intersection. Bringing more cars into that intersection isn't a great thing to do, regardless of what. On the other hand, the free market.
Thank you. Okay, the next speaker is, get my glasses back on there, is Kirk Honor, and you're the applicant.
Yes. Kirk Honor, we're based in Beverly Hills in California, and Minnesota is where our headquarters is located. Thank you again for having me. Seems that there are some questions potentially about the traffic study. The traffic study was commissioned by a professional traffic engineering firm. They're here tonight if you have any questions that you'd like to pose to them, clarify anything. I'm excited about moving the project forward. We've been delayed since April to move it forward, and I think the outcome after discussions with Chase have created a better design for the station. The change to the size of the compression system is better for us in order to fuel faster and to meet demand in the United States The original design was not significantly shorter than this new compressor. It had a significant amount of storage. It actually had the same amount of storage as the new compression system, but the actual compressor was one size smaller. So we've gone from a 250 horsepower compressor to a 500 horsepower compressor. I think this will serve our clients better in that the station will now be able to do about 8 gallons a minute as opposed to 4 gallons a minute on raw compression. So I'm excited about that change. That system's on order. So I'm hopeful that that we'll move forward, and I guess our next step is to go through the permitting process and get all the details done once the Planning Commission approves, if they so choose. So, any questions for me? I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, thank you for your time.
Okay, well, let's see if we have any questions from these guys. Anybody questions for the applicant? No, I think you're all free for right now.
All right, thank you.
All right, so we'll bring it up here and discuss. Anybody would like to start off? Commissioner Brower?
I'll go ahead and jump in. I think I'm going to take the applicant up on offers, as opposed to being a question for him. If we could hear from the traffic engineer, I think it would help with those who have come from the community to have some of their questions addressed as to how they went about their process and how they reached the determination that they did. If they're you said that they're here, right? I did hear that right. Okay, good.
Come on up
If
and
you could just give us
a little
quick,
spiel of...
yeah, just a kind of a snapshot of how you went about the process, why you chose. I don't know enough on that topic. I'm not a traffic engineer by any means, and so I'd rather hear from you why Mr. Gardner's concerns are or are not valid than to try to guess on my own. So, thank you.
Carl Ballard. I'm a principal with Koonsman Associates, and we wrote the traffic study. We went out to look at the Santa Ana site. It was very comparable, we felt, to this site. It had 4 pumps. It actually was very consistent for the multiple days that we counted it. We felt that it was a good site. It was actually busier than this site just because of the proximity to John Wayne Airport. They get a lot of business from there. We had one of our field personnel out there for more than 12 hours a day, and we did give him a lunch break. We sent someone out there to spell him while he went to lunch. Multiple days, the counts were very similar. We broke up the counts by different types of vehicles, and then we applied that to this location. Trip generation is substantially lower than a normal gas station. A normal gas station usually has 12 to 16 pumps. This one only has 4 fueling positions. We also felt that this location is ideal for this type of station. If you are traveling off the freeway, going northbound, obviously you just get off the ramp, travel straight across El Toro, make a right turn directly into the Bridger driveway, circulate through it, come through the Chase driveway. You're immediately going right again, right onto El Toro. You're in the right lane, and then you get back on the northbound by freeway. So very easy maneuver. Coming southbound off the freeway, obviously you get off the ramp at Avenida de la Carlota, make a left, you're on the left-hand side. You can make a left at the protected phasing with the green arrow on Bridger and make that same maneuver, and then come out and make a left to go back onto the southbound freeway. So we felt that this was, we did turning templates at the driveways also to show that, a garbage truck size vehicle can make that maneuver easily. And so we just really had no real concerns in the study.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, Will?
When you said, thank you, sorry. When you said counts were similar, you used your first lines of your comments earlier, comparing Santa Ana to here, you're talking about like the background traffic is that what you're saying? Like the El Toro traffic and maybe the Bridger traffic, surrounding traffic was similar in quantity to the Santa Ana, not including the obviously the station traffic. You're just saying that you picked 2 similar sites because of the similarities in traffic.
Right, and discussing the location with the applicant, The applicant actually went out and did 2 days' worth of counts himself. He hired a firm, and then the city traffic engineer recommended he wanted someone that was unbiased, and not connected to the project to do it. So we actually used our field personnel. He hired us as a separate engineering firm, and our separate 2 days confirmed his days, and they were very similar, and we applied it to this location. But the bottom line was it was based upon the applicant's knowledge of CNG stations and what he is comparing for 4 pumps to 4 pumps.
Any other questions? Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's go back to Commissioner Brower and see if you had any comments about this project.
Actually, I really like the improvements, especially the tie-in with the Chase driveway for the egress, by making that dump directly into what's already there as nothing but a drive aisle, as opposed to when it was going out the corner, they could have a choice. Do we want to go back across the building? Do we want to try to make the hard left and around through Scarantino's parking lot? Do we want, taking those questions away, and that lack of confusion, or too many choices creates confusion, is what I'm trying to say. So, and just saying, look, we figured it out. This is the safe way. Go this way. I think that's a good thing. And I voted to approve it previously. I think it was my first or possibly my second meeting on the commission that we did this. It was early on, and my only thoughts looking at this versus that, and it's a good learning experience to see how did the project change from my perspective and why. And I remember at the time of the last meeting, the question had come up about ownership of the parcels, because we're dumping into somebody else's parcel, and the question was answered with, well, it's all the same landlord. It is, but it turns out it's not all the same leaseholders. And I think that was a failure of leadership on our part to not catch that, at least, like I said, from my own perspective. And so, I think had we asked that question at the time, we might have been able to prompt this discussion with Chase. Have you talked to your neighbors? Have you figured out a plan that they're okay with, instead of approving something that the neighbor was then going to immediately appeal? So other than that, I think we got it right, and I like it. So I'm done.
Thank you. Commissioner Verplank?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Commissioner Brower's comments that it's a better project than it was in the beginning. I don't find any objections to it. I wanted to make sure that we were doing all that we could to move that flow of traffic. What our citizen, Mr. Gardner, said about that location, it's a difficult traffic situation. But regardless of that, this location, this project, something is entitled to go on that piece of dirt. And whatever it is going to create additional traffic. So I think that we've looked at this. The applicant has certainly looked at it and improved what was previously approved by this commission. So I like what I see here in terms of enhancements. And all my questions were answered the first go around, I think. So I'm in favor of this.
Thank you. Commissioner Hamilton?
I echo my two fellow commissioners who've already spoken. I'd also like to add just a little extra, comment, and maybe just a little different opinion. I think, Chase would have been given notice that this meeting was here, and because of our lack of showing up in April is kind of why we're here again. I think it is better now, but I think the more neighborly thing to do would be to come to the meeting and express your opinion and try and get a resolution that way, instead of just throwing the flag after the fact. So that's my only little difference of opinion there. I like the doubling of the gallons per minute. I think it's better for customers, things like that. I mean, we're here looking out for all of us, the residents. I mean, it's been vacant for almost 20 years. I think it's time for something to go there. And unless there's some extremely unique store that only maybe 2 people would come for, per day, I think this is a better use than, an existing Unical or another, competing, regular gasoline station to come into this. So unless we like vacant parcels all throughout the city, I'm all for this. So hopefully you've got 3 so far, and I'll do a premature congratulations.
Thank you. I was just mentioning I'm also for the project and have been all along because I'm for these alternate fuels. I would like to address the traffic issue, though. Commissioner Hamilton alluded to, what other types of uses could be there, and what kind of traffic would they generate. And virtually any of them that I can think of would generate more traffic than this one. So, having said that, I can't see that would be a reason to stop this particular project. On the other hand, that area is terrible as far as traffic is concerned. And, we may want to, the next time we have the opportunity to talk with the City Council again, we may want to talk about that again. I know that staff has looked at it many times. The Commission has looked at it a few times, too, with that U-turn in the middle of El Toro Road and to get into the parking lot. And when we were doing all of the orchard studies, we looked in detail of how to align Bridger Road. Never could come up with a good solution, to satisfy all of the property owners. And also, Caltrans has a big voice in that particular area, too. So it makes it really tough to make any changes much. So having said that, I do like the project. And somebody want to make another comment or make a motion?
Can I just add one comment? I completely agree with you that Caltrans has a big impact there, and I personally think having 2 cars going through per light would, I think, increase the flow of traffic through that area, because I think they just kind of all get stuck. And so I mean, just one of the things I've seen at I think it's University southbound on the 405, there's 2 cars per light, and so that just would be my humble opinion. To tag along to what great comments the chairman said.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and I'll move that we close the public hearing and approve change plan 8-13-3506.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. Passes. Thank you very much, and good luck on your project. I'm sure it'll do well. Okay, I think that takes us. Oh, we have one more item we have to deal with here. Okay, are we ready to move on to item number 3?
Yes, item 3 is a request for a continuance of the area plan, tentative maps, EIR, for the Portola Center Development Plan. We initially advertised this public hearing, and it was brought to our attention that this evening was the night of a back-to-school event for Portola Hills Elementary. So we have rescheduled this meeting. It will be our first meeting in October. It's October 10th. And we will be sending out a packet next week to the Commission with additional plans and staff reports, etc. Carrie Ty is here this evening. If you have any specific questions, she is available to answer those for you.
So you're saying that the school district trumps the Planning Commission?
Every time.
Does anybody have any questions?
Just a quick comment, if I could.
Sure.
Having gone to my own children's back-to-school night last night at Cordillera Elementary, I know the importance, and I'm glad to see that we're being responsive to the community.
Good. Thank you. So do we have a motion to
We
continue?
need a motion? Okay, well, I'll move that we continue this item to the October 10th, 2013 meeting.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. Passes. Great, thank you. Now that takes us to director's comments.
I have no comments this evening, but I would like to introduce Doug Anderson, who's sitting here at the dais. I believe, Doug, that's his first visit to the Planning Commission. Doug is the city's traffic engineer, and we had some comments about the off-ramp at El Toro Road, and so I would just give a minute here for Doug to tell you what Caltrans is.
Oh,
got in the
excellent.
works for that location.
Good, thank you.
Sure. In fact, last night was the first draft environmental open house they had for the project that's moving forward. That'll reconfigure. It'll actually widen the freeway. It's looking at adding another HOV lane, high occupancy vehicle carpool lane, as well as another general purpose lane. They are looking at making some ramp improvements, similar to what you spoke about here tonight. And ultimately, when the project is done, there will be, you will not have any through movements on Bridge or back onto the freeway in the southbound direction. Everybody will need to turn right to get back onto that freeway. So they're making some changes. They're doing some timing changes also to allow more vehicles through there. You'll see 3 on-ramp lanes at one point. Now, all of this is in the environmental stages. The next stage is design, which starts in 2014. Construction is not projected to start until 2018. With opening in 2020. So it's a long-range plan. It's about $560 million, so there's a lot of federal funds that have to be gathered before this project can move forward. But I wanted to present that to you so you would have that information.
Great, thank you. Anybody have any questions at this point? This might be an opportune time. It's not. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
I guess that's... Gail, did you have anything else? Or
No, I didn't have anything else.
okay. That takes us to our city attorney.
None tonight.
Can't think of any good comments I haven't used already. Commissioner Hamilton.
You know, I also wanted to welcome Doug. Doug and I go way back. When I was on the Planning Commission in Tustin, you were the traffic engineer there. So we have a professional working relationship in my previous Planning Commission days. But welcome. I know you came, what was it, 6 months ago? 10 months? Yeah, I think I was at the at a meeting that we met up again. So yeah, the Portola Open House. So welcome aboard again. And enjoyed the staff, all their work tonight. Good stuff.
Commissioner Verplank.
Okay, yeah. I had a couple of questions as I was reviewing all of our, be careful about that, all of our wonderful, wonderful reports here. And there's 2 items. One is the approval of the existing 5-stall carport on Vista Terrace that's been hanging around since February of 2012. And then the other one is the request to legalize the additions at Avila's El Ranchito, which has been hanging around since June of 2012. And I just wondered, those look like they're getting stale data to me. Is there a status update on those, or what's going on?
Well, I'll take the easy one first. Avila's, we have met with their architect recently, and it's taken them a long time, but they are finally making some progress on their plans, so hopefully we'll have an updated status on that, at least that they've resubmitted shortly. The 5-stall carport, I don't really have a good status update. That was a code enforcement case that came to us, and I just think that there's not a ton of motivation to move forward on that one, but let me check with code enforcement and see if maybe they've done anything on that side, and I will get back to you next time.
No, I just thought, maybe somebody's just decided it's not important to them, but obviously at one point it was. So, okay, I appreciate those comments. Outside of that, no further comment.
Thank you. Commissioner Brower?
I can't think of anything. I'm going to stop.
All right. And I just, I wanted to compliment staff on working with the applicant and Chase Bank to mediate a compromise. I think that's the optimum for us. We appreciate that. The other question I had, and you, Gail, you may have already sent this out to us, and I'm just getting old and forgetting things, but what was the latest on the U-Haul appeal?
Following the city council, the city council denied without prejudice. And so what that means is they don't have to wait a year to reapply. They can come right back in with a new plan. They have been in contact with staff a couple of times to understand what they need to do. They told us that they do plan, that U-Haul owns the site now. They do plan on being the end user, but they are working within their organization to decide what that's going to look like. So they have not resubmitted yet, but they understand they have to start from square one again through the planning process.
Okay, understand. Great. Thank you. And that's all I had for tonight.
I just, I'm sorry, go ahead. Okay. I wanted to piggyback on what you said, Chairman Zachmeister, that what happened tonight was the culmination of how it's designed to work, I think. That, you know, we sent a project, we moved the project forward. There was someone who came after the fact, which is okay. And the process got done in a really professional way, and I agree. I think and the applicant and the neighbor next door did a really great job. And as I read through that, I thought, that's the way life should work. I mean, life doesn't work perfectly all the time, but we were fortunate in this case. It worked really well. So compliments to everybody involved.
Very briefly, I just wanted to let those who don't already know, I was offered on Friday and accepted a new position in management with pickup sticks. So my full-time employment outside of the city will be changing. So that's my only update.
Congratulations. Okay, with that, we're going to close the Planning Commission to the next regularly scheduled meeting, which is October 10th.
I forgot something here. It's okay. It's off record. But, you know, Commissioner Zachmeister is now Chairman Zachmeister, and he might need something a little bit bigger to handle. So I wanted him to make sure that he took good care of that.